Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York and to this conference on the environmental economics and policy. This is a joint conference organized by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York and the School of International and Public Affairs at Columbia University. And for those who don't know me, I am João Santos. I'm the director of the Financial Intermediation Division here in research at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Before we get going, a series of housekeeping rules. So the first thing is that, so to avoid everyone saying this repeatedly, all the interventions by the New York staff throughout this conference are the views of themselves and not necessarily those of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York or the Federal Reserve System. Today's event will be recorded and will be made available at a later date at our website. Please silence your phone to avoid having interruptions throughout the presentations. And if you need to leave during the conference, of course you are welcome to do so. Please use either floor 1 or floor 0, depending on whether you want to leave on the Liberty or Maiden Lane line. Do not go outside on your own to other floors of the building, please. Another thing, lunch and reception will be served outside where we were hanging around before the beginning of the conference. And there will be refreshments throughout the day there in case you need. Please do not bring any food or refreshments inside the auditorium for obvious reasons. As you can see, it was brand new and fully renovated recently. There will be staff from New York throughout the conference and around in case you need help with anything. Last but not least, restrooms are right outside across the elevators. And with all those guidelines and rules, it's my pleasure also to welcome John Williams, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, who was kind enough to spare some time and give us some opening remarks. John.
Thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the New York Fed. It's great to be able to host this event. We've been talking about this for quite some time, and it's good to actually see it happen. Obviously, a special welcome to our partners at Columbia University's Center for Environmental Economics and Policy, and to all the panelists, and to our keynote speaker, Ben Harris. So Zhao said that this applies to everybody at the New York Fed, but I will repeat it anyway. My views, give the standard Fed disclaimer. My views are my own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Federal Open Market Committee, or for that matter, anyone else in the Federal Reserve System. Okay, so today we're bringing uptown and downtown together to establish a forum for important topics in environmental economics and policy. The truth is there's much to explore just vis-a-vis the neighborhoods between our two institutions here in New York. But we are well aware that these issues have far greater implications. They affect communities throughout the Second Federal Reserve District, as well as communities across the country and around the world. And we know that climate risks affect low-income communities disproportionately, which we'll discuss in more detail today. The New York Fed has a core responsibility to the Second District and to the economy more broadly. Our mission is to make the economy stronger and the financial system more stable for all segments of society. Now, we do this in a number of ways by executing monetary policy, delivering financial services, supervising financial institutions, and providing thought leadership on issues that impact local areas and the nation. This is all against the backdrop of our dual mandate as part of the Federal Reserve System of maximum employment and price stability. Because of these responsibilities, we work to study and understand everything that has an effect on the economy. And climate risk is one of those issues. It's starting to have a profound effect on the economy and financial system, both domestically and internationally. And it's already begun to impose substantial economic costs globally. Potential risks are constantly evolving and can impact our core responsibilities, particularly around economic conditions, financial stability, and supervision. This building that we're gathered at is home to experts of all kinds. We are economists, community development professionals, bank supervisors, specialists in markets. So if we're experts on the economy and the financial system, then we must be well-versed on the implications and risks of climate on the economy and the financial system too. Now, there are a number of teams of the New York Fed who are working to understand these issues. For example, members of our research department are focusing on increasingly extreme weather. And you'll hear more about that topic specifically from my colleagues today. Our community development group has made climate one of their key areas of focus for their work with an eye on the 2nd District. And people in our markets team are thinking about how financial markets are responding to climate change and ESG concerns more broadly. So each group is investing in this work in their own ways, but it's also important that we put our collective experience and expertise together to tackle these big issues. That's why we've convened what we call the Climate Priorities Leadership Team here at the New York Fed. This is a cross-bank team focused on understanding the effects of climate change on the economy and the financial system, making sure that we have the expertise and knowledge to successfully carry out those core responsibilities that I talked about. All of this informs the broader efforts taking place around the Federal Reserve System and plays a critical work as part of the international central banking community. Coming together today is another way for us to share our important work so that as we pursue our goals. And I'm looking forward to what we can accomplish by learning from each other, both now and in the future. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for participating in these valuable and critical conversations, and looking forward to a very productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Welcome. My name is Wolfram Schlenker. I'm one of the co-directors of the Center of Environmental Economics and Policy at CEEP, together with Doug Almond, who will be introducing the lunch speaker. I want to really thank John Williams and the entire team at the Fed for hosting us today. I can tell you that for the last half year, we've received incredible support from them, so I'm really grateful for you for hosting this, and I think it's an incredible event. I also want to acknowledge CEEP specifically, who started the Sustainable Development PhD program almost 20 years ago and sort of started leading this new field. This conference has been supported also by the Earth Institute and ICERP, the Institute for Social and Economic Research and Policy, so thank you to them.